Today we are going to make a color band ruler to help us measure our pencils to the nearest whole, half, and quarter inch. You have these directions on making a color band ruler. The first part tells you how to make whole inches, and then we move into half inches, and then finally quarter inches. You will need a pencil, your graph paper, a ruler, and colored pencils to make this ruler. I'm going to walk through the video of me making the ruler, so you don't have to look through these directions on your own unless you get stuck. Let's get started. The first thing I did was make the top and bottom outline of my ruler. All I did was take a ruler and measure a little over 8 inches, about 8.5 inches, and draw a straight line. Then I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square down to measure another line the same size. Go ahead and do that now. Feel free to pause at any point in this video to do your work and then press play to see my next step. Okay, so I'm going to mark my whole inches now. I'm going to take my ruler and put it underneath my bottom line. And I'm going to start marking my whole inches. So I'm going to start at the end of my line, but you can start one in if you want to cut off this at the end when we cut our ruler, but it's up to you. So every time I see my whole inch, I'm going to mark a line. So since that's 1 whole inch, I mark a line because eventually I'm going to mark the line up. And then here's another whole inch, another one, another one. And I'm going to go ahead and stop at 8 whole inches. Then I'm going to use my ruler to make those straight lines to the top part of my paper ruler. You could use a pencil here or a black pen. It's up to you. You do not want to use a colored pencil because we're going to put other colors in here to identify our whole inch, half inch, and quarter inch mark. Okay, so now that I almost have my 8 whole inches, I'm going to color code them. And I'm only going to color code them using the top row of my graph paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blue and a red marker. Go ahead and use colored pencils if you have those. And I'm going to color in my full inches, but I'm going to switch off red and blue every other inch just so I have a better understanding of where my inches stop. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the rest of my inches and then I will see you back here in a second. Alrighty, so now my red and my blue marking on my ruler represent my whole inches, and I put this up here just for us to refer to. My next step is to take my pencil. I'm going to lay it along my ruler and I'm going to measure it to the nearest whole inch. So you can see it doesn't quite make it to a whole inch, so I have to round it to the nearest one. So this pencil is closer to this whole inch than this whole inch. So this is where I'm going to mark my pencil is in terms of its length. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. So on this piece of paper, I would write my pencil measures 6 whole inches. Okay, now we're going to move to our next step, which is our half inch. Now I'm going to draw a green line, or I'm going to just use my black pencil, but I'm going to draw a line halfway between each one of my inches. So here's I'm going to use my straight edge again just to help me keep it nice and organized. And here I go. I'm drawing a line halfway between my inches. Remember, my next step right now is to measure half inches, so that's why I'm choosing to do that. And then I'm going to use green and orange to identify my half inches. So here I go again, very similar to my red and my green. My red and my blue. And here's a 1/2 inch. And then this is another 1/2 inch. And I'm going to do that again, similar to what I did with my blue and my red. And I'm going to go along this ruler to identify where my 1/2 inches are. Go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, so now I have my green and my orange, which are my 1/2 inches. And I decided another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my numbers and my inches right above my inches, just so it's quicker for me to read the measurement. So these numbers up here just represent that inch. So this is 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, 7 inch, and 8 inch. Actually, you know what? I really should have moved these numbers to a little bit over so they're on the line. I apologize if that's confusing. I will help us out. So now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to measure it to the nearest 1/2 inch. I'm going to line up the eraser at the end, and I can see that in terms of 1/2 inch, my pencil is closer to this 1/2 inch here than this 1/2 inch here. So my pencil measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches. So now we're getting a little bit more precise with our measurement. 5.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right here, 5.5 inches. All right, let's move on to our 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to indicate where the 1/4 is, and the 1/4 is just 1/2 of the 1/2. So now I have all these little lines here to represent where my 1/4 of an inch is. And a 1/4 is 1/4, and it's 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to use yellow to mark my 1/4 inches. Great, now I have my yellow, which is my 1/4 inch, and I'm going to measure my pencil one more time, and I can see that it falls really nicely into this 1/4 inch right here. So my most precise measurement of this pencil, remember in whole inches it was 6. Then when I was doing 1/2 inches, it was closer to 5.5. But if we really measure it precise to the 1/4 inches, it's really 5 3/4, because it's so close to this 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4 mark right there. So here's my whole inch rounding. Here's my 1/2 inch. And here's my 1/4 inch. And the 1/4 inch is the most precise one because it's the closest to that line right there. And I can even move it up right here and I can compare, move it all around to see where my pencil falls. Here's what you guys are going to do today. After you make your color band ruler, you can cut it out and then tape it onto your actual ruler. This will be really helpful because then it can show you how many inches each one of your inches represents. I tried to do that here, but remember I placed my numbers incorrectly, so taping them to the ruler can really help you when you are measuring. We're going to use the color band ruler for tomorrow's lesson, so don't lose it. Good luck!